Hi, welcome everybody. Hope wherever you are and whatever you're doing today, it's started as a great day and that it's going to improve from there. Today, wanted to talk about the psychic side. What is psychic? What does that mean? A lot of you know, a lot of you don't know. I prefer to simplify the meaning of all of these subjects simply because inherently we are born with certain gifts, certain abilities, different to each other, some similar. And one of the things that is similar in everybody is the survival instinct, the instinct to survive. And we all know what that's like if we're ever faced with a life and death situation, or if we're contemplating life and death. It isn't an easy thing to do to opt out. So survival instinct, we're all wired with that, but we're also wired with other instincts as well. The third eye has always been put down as the psychic. So the third eye is in between our eyebrows. It is the eye that you cannot see, but the eye that sees more than what your physical eyes see. There are many different ways that we can perceive, sense, see things that are not going on in front of our physical eyes. And for some of you, you may even have this, you know how we pick up on vibes from people? There is this instinct that when we meet somebody, sometimes we can have a strong dislike for them, just we don't even know them, but we have a strong dislike. Sometimes we can actually just go, wow, you connect straight away. It's because you've been given a whole lot of information about this person without knowing you've been given this information. You could call it their body language, you could call it their energy vibe, you could call it their attitude, you could call it their kindness, whatever you want to call it. We have the ability to connect or disconnect from people in the first instant we meet them. It is actually part of your inherent intuitive abilities, which are psychic abilities, and intuitive abilities are ones that not only help you survive, they help you find direction in your life. They sometimes pop up and you just get like an idea in your head to do something that you weren't going to do, or you get a feeling in the pit of your stomach where it's like, oh, I just need to go and do this, or I just need to turn right instead of left. And then you find out that by turning right you may have avoided an accident, or by turning right you may have actually come across a place you didn't know existed, or that held something important or significant to what you'd been wanting in your life or thinking about in your life. And that's kind of how it naturally plays out in our life, in many other ways as well. For those of you who don't know, remember when, I don't know, in my day, my mum, my grandmother, it's like they had eyes in the back of their head, and they did. It was literally the third eye, and I'll just give you a quick example where it is. For those of you that can see on YouTube, I'll show you, and for those that can't, I'll explain that it's between your eyebrows in the front of your head, and you know where the base of your spine comes up at the back of your head? It actually angles down from the front down to the top of your spine at the back. That is your third eye. It is your the chakra, energy point and center in your body, and it's the only one that slopes down like that. And if you've ever seen sometimes a picture that's like at the back of your head, you're actually seeing a clear vision of something you will see later. Generally, that's a precognitive ability. So you've got all the clear senses. Clairvoyance is being able to see. So what can happen is that you may see like I said, a flash of a picture. You may actually see a movie. If you're looking at somebody or talking to somebody and you see this kind of like imaginary picture of what they might be doing or what they might have done, if you spoke to that person, they would probably be able to say, well, actually, yeah, I have done that. So it's more of a clear vision. Clear visions are clearer than what we see, hear, sense and feel. We have not just the clairvoyance, but if you think about people who are good musicians, I've talked about this before, people who have a good sense of tone and tune, you will likely find that they hear messages, and it is sometimes disconcerting. If somebody hears messages strongly, they can sometimes be a little bit off-put by that. It's the same as if you see lots of movies, lots of pictures that are unrelated to what you're looking at with the physical eyes. That can be a little off-putting too. Clear vision helps you to see more clearly. Clear audience helps you to hear more clearly. And messages can come in quiet voices in your head or loud voices in your head. And now I've said the voices in your head. Sometimes we all know, our mind talks to us. You know, we can talk back to ourselves in our mind. If I'm wrong, let me know, but that's what's happened my whole life. I'm sure it does for everybody. I've heard people say they've argued with themselves. Well, that's the same thing. And they're confused because they've got 2 points of view about things. One of the strongest senses that we have psychically is clear sentience, and the ability to sense and know how a person is feeling. So if somebody is sad, it's not just how they look. If you're talking to them on the phone, you can hear it sometimes in their voice, but you can also, if you're clairsentient, you can actually feel their feelings. You can feel their actual feelings. And depending how strong it is for you, because all of your senses, all of your clear senses, all of your intuitive senses are at a degree between, say, 1 and 10. Some people have very, very strong visions, they have very strong messages, they have very strong feelings. If you ever found your childhood really difficult and situations in your childhood really difficult, if you could sense your parents' distress or their displeasure and you were very sensitive to it and reacted to it, then you most definitely are clairsentient. If you're walking down the street and you just turn round, it's because you actually have felt somebody is looking at you. Now, you might not consciously go, oh, someone's looking at me, I'll turn around. You might just go, I turned around and somebody's looking at me. How often has that happened to you? That happens quite a lot. Thinking about someone or someone's name popping into your head, then the phone rings. Or you meet up with them within kind of a day or two. Often these things happen within a short time. Sometimes they're a lot longer, depending on the strength of your ability. There is this precognance that we can have, precognance that we can have. When we're talking to somebody, we can know stuff we don't know how we know it. It's just like a knowledge. It's not so much that you get a voice or you get a picture. It's just that you know it. You know what they're going to say before they say it. Not quite mind reading, but kind of reading ahead of what they're going to say, reading ahead of what they're going to do. And that also is an ability, like knowing, a lot of mothers have this with teenagers, you know, just knowing that they are heading for trouble. It's like we say these in very ordinary terms, just trying to warn them about keeping safe and, you know, driving slowly and all that kind of stuff. That comes from a sense of something could go wrong or will go wrong because this is how you're acting and that's just going to lead that way. That's kind of a precognitive kind of aspect. So there are many different things with the psychic, and if I was doing this really well, I would do this in a very succinct way. So I'm sorry about that. I just kind of go with what comes off my head. And with the psychic side of things, I want to clearly define this. Psychic is not spiritual. Like our human learning, the way that our left brain is fed information, that it treats information, is very academic, I guess, say it that way. It's very shopping list. It's very learned this lifetime. Whereas the intuitive and the psychic is not. So if you get something that just pops into your head randomly, please follow it up. Just look it up. Just research it. You'll find that it's actually answering one of your questions, because when we have lots and lots of questions, we have different ways that these answers come to us. And one of them is that you might just meet somebody who is the exact person who can help you with what you're looking for, who can answer the question for you. Or you might come across some kind of workshop or information randomly going through your tablet or your phone, and you might go, oh, that looks interesting, and that answers the question that you've had also. We're very lucky with the technical side of our life, where we can access any information at any time, and all our answers are available to us. Every answer you need is available. And if you just are curious, if you go, well, what's the answer to this? An answer will come. Generally, in my life, I have had many, many questions. I talked to God when I was a child. I tell everybody that, because that's the truth. And I would get all of this information that would explain it in adult jargon and language and huge words that I couldn't possibly have known or understood as a child. And it frustrated me. I could not articulate them and say them. And it was, but I knew it. I knew it. You know how kids can be, I know. Well, guess what? They actually do. It's at a different level of their being. They get it. They understand. But they do need to be taught to apply it in the physical side of life, because they can't translate it from where they get it and know it to what's happening in front of them in a specific kind of way. So they do need to be retaught it. And, you know, that just might help a little bit if you've got some child who does know everything. They do. They do. And then the older you get, the less you know. I'm not sure if that's to do with a memory that we lose as we get older. But I do know, without knowing, that all energy, all information, all knowledge, and all understanding is in us right now. And if you are curious about finding out about anything, ask yourself, ask thin air, ask the universe, ask God, ask the creator energy, whatever that is for you. And the answer will come in some way. Maybe not immediately, but it will actually come. So I'm just going to have a quick little look at February 2020. We are at this particular point, and I'm just going to select a couple of cards like I normally do. There are going to be 2 sessions this month, and I have a guest coming in on the next session this month, and I'm excited to bring her in, and I would love it if you would join us for that. So before anything else, I'm going to focus on the month of February 2020 and be curious about what's, in general, the theme of what, is coming up for you. Sorry about my bumbling today. Okay, so let's have a look. I'm going to pick 3 cards before I start. So, February 2020. Right, let's have a little look. Okay, going to be a bit busy, just a little bit busy this month, crazy busy. Some of you have delayed your holidays and you're going away on your holiday. After all the rush, we've got a lot of tourists still around. So, just celebrate the bay. We're celebrating the weather at the moment. It's been a bit rubbish, so this is really good. Time also just to check in with yourself a little bit this month. Just wonder about you. Wonder about how you're travelling. Is this year kind of going the way you thought it might start? Always encourage you to look up the astrology for the year, for 2020. Look it up and just see how it might apply for you. Just can give you a little bbit of a heads up. There's a lot of people waking up this year. There's a lot of people discovering their intuitive psychic abilities. There's a lot of people waking up spiritually. It's the world is waking up in a whole lot of different ways. So we will see that. I won't comment on that. So February. Funny, there's links with everything. I've talked about the psychic side. You may experience this month something weird, okay? Call it weird or strange or different. Some people wake up psychically when they have a physical experience, and that can be a little unsettling. What I want you to know is it's simply that you are realising a different part of yourself. February, there is quite a bit of this going on. There's a little bit of the synchronicities, there's the coincidences, there's a little bit of the kind of like weird, I guess. Nothing spooky, nothing scary. They're all very ordinary. We take them very literally in our lives and we poo-hoo a lot of them, which is okay, it's not a problem. Just that there may be some kind of like, wow, that's kind of interesting kind of moments for you. If you see, if you see a kind of like a flash of light out the corner of your eye, that's actually just someone in spirit saying hi. And if you see, oh, that's weird, I can see a colour there, colour's not there, then you're seeing the energy around something, and they always appear in colours. If you think of somebody and then they ring or you run into them, same thing. That could happen quite a few times this year. You may find that you're not comfortable with what happens to you. You can always get in contact with me. Seriously, if you've got a question, I can generally put it in a very sort of simple form that fits and makes sense. And to contact me, you ring 027 4166 545 or 844 7531 06 on the front if you're not in Hawke's Bay. So there are also, for some of you this month in February, you're going to find out things that you didn't know before. Things are going to come to the surface. It's like truths are going to be told. You're going to have to face reality a little bit with this. nothing too bad, but this is the month to be the queen. Well, no, not the queen. But this is the month to just get your life sorted. Like, take hold of the year. Take hold of the year, take hold of your projects, get creative, actually take things another step. You know, holidays are gone now, we're back into business, school's back, all that kind of thing. So get busy being you and improving you this month. And on that note, people, it's funny how time flies, and I'd love to say a whole lot more. You probably had enough, that's fine. I will talk to you again in the middle of the month. Have an awesome day.